All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out my channel. So I want to do a kind of one of these top 5 type things. I never do them on YouTube, but I thought I would do one. And it's basically top 5 things that I would be aware of if thinking about becoming a trainer. Now, when I talk about a trainer, I'm specifically, I guess you could say, talking about a gym like 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, those type of trainers, I guess you could say. I'm not talking about somebody who, like my daughter, who is going to school actually. She wants to become a physical therapist, or somebody that is going to college, or any of those type of things. I'm kind of talking about the average Joe that wants to get into fitness and kind of goes and takes a 2-day class for between probably $700 and $900. They get certified and then they go start working at usually a franchise gym. It could be an independent gym or a CrossFit gym as well. But I just wanted to give people a heads up on what I have seen over my entire life, going to multiple gyms all over the world, especially North America. I've been to literally hundreds, if not, I wouldn't be shocked if I've been to 1,000 different gyms at this point in my life. And here's the deal too, I am not a trainer myself. But on the flip side, I've hung out with so many different family members, friends, colleagues that are trainers on many different levels inside multiple different style gyms. Some of my closest friends even own gyms, and that goes for CrossFit, boxing gyms, and just standard bodybuilding, I guess you could say, style gyms. So I've been doing a lot of different athletes and trainers on my podcast lately, and right now we're going through the pandemic. So I've been hearing a lot of different things on what they're going through now and what they've gone through in the past. So I'm going to probably incorporate some of that in here as well. And I also recently just created a video. I haven't published it yet, but it's called Don't Go Broke when getting involved with fitness. And I'm going to get into that as well in this, because I think a lot of people, when they start getting involved with fitness, is they kind of lose control. One thing is they start going crazy and they start spending a lot of money in things that they could really be cutting back on, or just trying to figure out a better way. And that goes for buying clothes, it could be food, it could be supplements, it could be many different things. So I'm going to get into that. So let me get into number 1 here. Number 1, when wanting to be a trainer, I see a lot of guys kind of going to their local gym or a gym they're working out at. They want to start training people. They go take the class. They go get certified. They come back, and now they're working for their gym. And what I see a lot of times happening is guys picking the wrong gym, or not going to a gym that's going to make them enough money, or it's kind of flooded. So if you are going to go start training people, so what I would do is you start talking to the trainers in the gym, becoming friends with them if you're not already, and get an honest approach on how much money they're truly making, what their schedules really are like, what is really expected of you. You know, a lot of people in the gyms, as you know, they become like their sales guys and their trainers. What is the expectation they're expecting from you? Not only how to train people, but also how, I guess you could say, their agreement is. A lot of times I think gyms do get a bad rap because they want to sign, when people sign up to go to the gym, they also want people to sign up for their training because that makes them a lot of money. But the reality is sometimes they go overboard, I think, and they force people, or they make people think that they need them, and all these different types of things. I don't like pressure sales, so that aggravates me. And if you're somebody who wants to become a trainer at certain types of facilities, they may expect this of you, kind of a high pressure type, you know, situation. So be aware of that. It's not like a lot of times people think they're going to become trainers. They get certified and then they go to the gym and all of a sudden all they have to do is train people. No, there's usually more behind that than just that. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, I wouldn't, back to the gym, you shouldn't be paying any gym fee anywhere. That's one thing you shouldn't be paying. So just be aware of the gym itself that you're going to, because a lot of times you may be blindsided on what they expect of you. All right, so let's go to number 2, supplements. A lot of times, this goes for guys, girls, or whoever, when they start getting involved with fitness, they kind of become obsessed with taking different supplements. Meal replacements, different types of vitamins, all these different types of things. Here's the deal, and I just did a video on this. Don't let that shit make you broke. I think supplements, for the most part, are almost as addicting, or as addicting as, say, somebody who's addicted to drugs or alcohol or anything else. It almost becomes an obsession with people. And a lot of times, if you're going to become a trainer, I get you want to be in the best shape possible, right? You want to be ripped, you want to get big, all these type of things, because you want to make a statement. But be very aware of spending a lot of money on different supplements, because you will go broke. I would recommend a couple different things. One is obviously going online and finding the best price that you can find for what you're looking for. Maybe even reaching out to some companies and seeing if you could even become a rep or they'll sponsor you. That's maybe or maybe not going to happen. Or at the very least, just try to make some connections where you're getting it wholesale. Because I'm telling you right now, as time goes on, if you're going to start paying retail for supplements and just going to a lot of vitamin shops, I don't want to start naming them all, you're going to go broke. Because a lot of times the money you're spending is not the money you're going to be replenishing. And you just got to be very aware of that. And a lot of dudes, I'm going to throw it in there, they start, they want to start doing steroids or doing different types of things. Again, these are all expenses. So again, be very aware of the supplements you're taking, the intake you're taking as well. A lot of times, I'm just going to tell you right now, what you think you're taking is the best for you, when in hindsight, a lot of times it may not be. Don't be fooled, especially when you first start training, or what other people are also taking, thinking it's going to work for you the way it's worked for them. That's not always the case as well. So let's jump into the third here. The third thing I'd be aware of is your food expense. Because I think a lot of people don't realize when you start training hard or become a trainer, a lot of times you want to start eating better, right? And it is not cheap to eat good foods, especially if you're going to start prepping, say, 4 to 6 meals a day, right? Or just say you want to start eating more organic style foods, or you want to start shopping at higher end places that just offer a higher quality food, right? You have to understand that is not going to be cheap. Okay, especially if you want to start getting bigger. You're going to have to start intaking a lot more food. Back to supplements, you're going to also probably have to start taking food supplements or things to replace a lot of, besides just eating, which could be shakes or drinks of some sort, whatever it is. You have to be aware of all the expenses that are going to come along with you, especially, again, if you want to get big and strong and make that statement. Now, that may not be your thing. I'm not, you could be any type of trainer. You don't have to be big. Or whatever the case may be. But a lot of guys I know, they do usually want to get bigger in size. They want to become more muscular. And again, what that's going to come down to, for the most part, is food. So think about that when you're becoming a trader. How much money are you spending on food? You're going to kind of have to figure out ways on how to truly save money. How you do that is kind of on you. I don't know if you want to do your own gardens. I don't know if you want to just, I don't care if you get a part-time job at a grocery store, or just figuring out ways to save money. But food is probably going to be your biggest expense, minus your rent and probably car payment. I don't know what else you do in your life, but I can assure you, when you start adding up all the expenses, especially if you start training hard, it's going to cost a lot of money. Let's call it for what it is. All right, next is clothing and accessories. I think a lot of people that become trainers, they want to look a certain way, and I get it. They want to start wearing a certain brand. It could be a high-end brand, it could be a mid-level brand, and I don't care what brand it is. Where the expense comes in is most likely when you start training and really taking things to the next level. A lot of guys either start gaining a lot of weight, become a lot more muscular, so their wardrobe changes. So guess what? You got to buy different clothes that fit you, and you got to buy clothes that look good on you. I'm telling you right now, if you're a trainer, can't walk in looking like a slob. The reality is people are judging you. I mean, that is just the way it is. That goes from the top of your head all the way to your feet. You know what I mean? You can't be wearing shitty, ragged out gym shoes. You can't be wearing shorts that are trashed or shirts that smell, that have stains. Most likely, that's not going to work for a lot of people. You may be able to get away with it in certain places, but I'm just telling you, for the most part, you want to look good top to bottom. That costs money. I'd recommend a couple things. One is possibly trying to find a clothing line that would help sponsor you. Now, if you're addicted to Nike, Under Armour, Lulu, whoever it may be, and I get it, a lot of people love those, those clothes. But if you can't afford them, you may have to take another route. You could possibly find another athletic wear company that is just coming into play that would love to offer you clothes to wear at your gym if you don't have a uniform already. So if you're already at a, as you know, if you're already at a mainstream gym, they're going to have a uniform for you. But say they don't, or say you're even training people on the side, or even when you're not training or at work, you may want to get some perks and get some people to give you some clothes for free to kind of help offset some of those. Especially when it comes to gym shoes too. I know a lot of dudes love gym shoes, especially the younger guys. They don't just have 1, 2, or 3 pairs. They have 10, 15, 20 pairs. They wear them with all different outfits. Again, you got to realize that's going to bankrupt your ass. I'm telling you right now. You got to look at how much money you're going to be making as a trainer compared, really to what you're spending. And I think at the beginning, everybody has all these emotional ties to training, on how they want to look, how they want to, appear, and all these things. Just again, make sure you do not go broke doing these type of things. Also, Consignment clothes. I know a lot of people are like, I don't like resale clothes. I don't like used clothes. A lot of times you could go to a lot of stores locally or in cities and they have new clothes that are athletic wear. It may not always be your brand, and I get it. Again, you may just want a certain brand, but a lot of times you'd be shocked too. You can find clothes that are mint, maybe used, but it will save you a lot of money. You could end up spending $10 for a shirt instead of $50. That goes for any type of things. I wouldn't recommend shoes because that's just not my thing. But, you know, you get these clothes for, you know, a lot less money, and you're just, every time you go to the mall, let's face it, a lot of times, and you're buying retail, you're getting beat up. And I always talk about it. Look at clothes as being disposable. And if you plan on, say you're a certain weight, you plan on kind of growing. So say you're 170 pounds, you want to be 200 pounds, you're going to probably go through more than just one size. You may be a medium, then you'll be a large, and then an extra large. So again, don't spend a lot of money on clothes. And then again, you may get up to 200, and let's flip it and say, you know what, I liked it better when I was 180. So now you may go down a size. Again, if you keep spending money on all these different clothes, I would just be aware that is not the way to go, is what I should say. All right, so that was number 4. If I didn't mention it, who knows? I probably blew it. Who gives a shit? Anyway, so let's move on to number 5. So number 5 is I'd recommend getting another job. I know you may think I'm crazy, but the reality is I think for most trainers I know when they first start off, it is very hard. You don't have a clientele. Even if you have a gym that's very busy, don't expect them to always be giving you clients. I really think most guys or women, if you have a second job while you're, you know, obviously becoming a trainer or training people, it takes a lot of stress off your finances. The one thing I see, and this goes for, I mean, even dudes I know that were trying to become professional wrestlers, bodybuilders, powerlifters, all of them, and they were trainers. It takes a lot of money to sustain that lifestyle, and a lot of times the return is just not there. I mean, even if you look at pro bodybuilding, I mean, the elites only really make great money, and the rest, I'd hate to say it, are nobodies. And again, this goes for even guys who do CrossFits, because I used to live in San Diego, guys who do other types of, you know, I don't care if it's a marathon, a triathlon, all these different types of things cost money and time. And a lot of times, if you are a trainer and then say you want to take on doing a Tough Mudder, or you want to do bodybuilding, right? You want to become a pro, whatever the case may be. Again, that's going to take money. I would definitely recommend getting a second job. Now, if you want to do, say for instance, you do want to, you like supplements, maybe go work at a GNC, hypothetically, or a vitamin shop. Something like that, you get discounted. Or a lot of times, you know, if you want to build up your clientele, you may look at it from this way, hey, maybe I should be a bouncer in a nightclub, or maybe I could go somewhere where I can meet a lot of wealthy people, or a lot of people that would need me to help train them. Kind of a second job regarding that. So you're kind of parlaying your, you know, two things into one. If you kind of go get a job where you can't market yourself and you're trying to be a trainer, that kind of defeats the purpose. So I would definitely recommend going somewhere where there's a lot of people, hopefully with a lot of money, again, that need your service. And the reality is, a lot of people I know that are trainers, a lot of times they want to go on and either open their own gyms, their own clinics, their own, whatever you want to say. It could be online, it could be at home, whatever the case may be. If that is what you want to do in the future, that is wonderful. It could even be getting furthering your education. Again, that takes money, right? So a lot of trainers I know, they're also going to school, which is wonderful. Again, you have to pay for school unless somebody else is doing that. So you can't have a second job. But please, again, if you're going to become a trainer, set up a game plan. I know a lot of times you hear the 5-year plan or all that, but be realistic about your expenses. Because I just see more and more people that get involved with the fitness industry that are going broker and broker and broker. Now, that's what I kind of mentioned earlier during the pandemic, for instance. Say, I've actually done interviews on my podcast with trainers that are training people at home. They actually were set up for that at the beginning, which is amazing because they're doing very well. Then a lot of my other friends that are trainers that train people in gyms, boxing gyms, all different style gyms all over Chicago or North America in general, including Canada, they're not, you know, the gyms are not opening. They're losing their clientele. They're not making any money. It's a rough go, okay? Now, this was kind of shocking. But again, when you're a trainer, you have to be a little bit realistic on your approach in life, okay? Shit like this happens. You can't always depend either on your company that you work for to always supply you, you know, with clientele. It really falls on you. And I'm going to kind of go into this now. This is kind of, it's not number 6, but it's kind of some bonus stuff that if you're going to become a trainer, I think what you really got to look out for, especially if you're younger, and that's partying. A lot of guys I know that are trainers or become trainers, they end up getting a lot more fit. Truthfully, they get a lot more sexy. Men, women, they start getting around a lot of different types of people that are fit like themselves, or at the gym, they start meeting a ton of people. I mean, I'm not talking a few people, they meet hundreds, sometimes even thousands of new people, which is great. They start hanging out with them, they even may start partying with them. And here's the deal again, if you are gonna fall into that, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, I've been there, believe me when I tell you, and this is kind of a catch-22. If you start going out and partying with a lot of different people, especially wealthy people, it's wonderful because that can end up being your clientele, and they're going to also introduce you to other people that are going to get you more and more business, right? That's kind of what you want to do, but the trap you can't fall into is spending a lot of money on partying. So you can't be the one to kind of be, you know, schmoozing everybody to a certain degree. Because most likely, if you're a trainer, you're not making tons of money. Now, some trainers kick it in the ass. Again, I don't want to sit here and make it sound like every trainer's broke. But when you first start off, it's very hard and it's stressful. But back to partying and stuff, you just got to make sure if you're going to go out and drink, smoke, like weed. I'm not saying cigarettes. Most guys don't. But you can do whatever you want to do. They do blow. You get a little nuts out there. All that shit costs money. Be very aware of that. Also, be aware you don't get a DUI. Obviously, you don't get arrested and all the stupid shit involved with all that. But here's the thing. Back to the catch-22. You got to realize to get clients, you're going to have to market yourself, all right? Just pay attention and also start focusing in on a certain type, maybe of clientele or a district or an area. A lot of times I think people, they kind of just think it's just going to happen to them, or even if they build a website, they just think business is going to come to them because they look a certain way or because they work at a certain gym. Competition is fierce. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you want to check out my podcast, The Rich CELENZA Show, WTF Are You Talking About? I've been literally interviewing a bunch of different trainers. Again, CrossFit, bodybuilding, one's a dual athlete, Guy Petrozelli. I just did Ronnie Pesha, nutritional and fitness expert, Christopher Thompson on there as well recently. I had Dr. Pat, who's also a specialist when it comes to nutrition. So all these different type of people, if you want to check it out, it's very informative regarding many different things when it comes to not only fitness, but training and what they've been through their entire life regarding the industry, because a lot of them are lifers. They've been doing it a long time. So get a chance, you might want to check that out. I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And please, if you're going to become a trainer, protect yourself. You have to understand, and I'm going to end it with this truly. A lot of times, don't get very emotional. You're going to get a lot of clients. You're going to lose a lot of clients. And if you're a really good trainer, at least in a gym, your job is to eventually teach people how to be independent. So just something to think about. So a lot of times I think when people think they lose their clients, they think, oh my God, they don't like me anymore, or I'm no good, or well, a lot of times they can't afford it either. But the truth was, you may have taught them so well that they don't need you. Now, this isn't the type of trainer I'm talking about where you train somebody specific for a specific sport or all that. I'm just talking about the average Joe out there that trains certain people that come in the gym for a certain amount of time. And don't think your schedule is going to be easy either. Just a heads up, a lot of times if you do start building up a clientele, you have to abide to their schedule. So something to definitely think about, and I don't think a lot of guys think about that when wanting to either go independent or just training in general at their gym. So hopefully that's it, right? All right, I got a bunch of different stuff. I could go on and on forever, but I'm really here to help protect you. So if you're going to become a trainer, please protect yourself and protect others, all right? Take care and stay safe.